At 4 p.m., they're going to do a closing ceremony. And the whole point of the sand mandala is represented in beauty and impermanence. They'll sweep it all up, take it down to the river, return it to water, and at the same time, they'll do a blessing for our meditation garden in progress. So please mark your calendars for that. And if you could actually come a couple hours early, we're going to be having our health fair here on Saturday. All kinds of healing practitioners, sound healing, Reiki, aromatherapy, Ayurveda, fill in the blank. They'll be here on Saturday, so you can come enjoy that, hang around for the closing ceremony, and make your Saturday just one of like transformation here at Unity on the River. Are we ready? All right, because I can't pat any longer. This is about the extent of what I do. So I will now turn it over.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the opening ceremony of the mandala saint painting by the monks of Tibet Monastery. This is the one of biggest monastery of Tibet, and it was established in 1416. This monastery had more than 10 to 15,000 monks before 1959. But unfortunately, it was destroyed with 6,000 of the monasteries of Tibet when Chinese invaded Tibet in 1959. So His Holiness was desperate to remain in Tibet, and so he left Tibet and escaped to India. So after 1959, 216 surviving monks of our monastery, followed His Holiness to India, where they re-established our monastery. So nowadays, we have the replica of our monastery is in South India, and where we preserve our ancient traditions. So as you know, Tibet is under Chinese pressure, and it was occupied in 1959, and so Chinese Communist Party destroyed 6,000 of monasteries and nunneries, and they killed more than 1 million people of Tibet at that time. And so nowadays, they constructed railway stations in the center of Tibet, and so they transport Han Chinese to Tibet. They want to make a minority of Tibetan population, and they also transport, the all natural resources from Tibet to China, such as, the Tibet is very rich in natural resources, such as gold and irons, and, so they construct many factories and industries, so there are many in Tibet. And Tibet is also the highest place of the world, and so most of the rivers flow from Tibet, and so those rivers are used by neighbor countries, Asian countries such as the Pakistan, India, and Burma, and so many countries use the rivers, the waters flowing from Tibet. So unfortunately, the Chinese, so they make a dam in Tibet, and they block the rivers, and so they make polluted, so pollute, the rivers, waters, and deforest, and take all natural resources to China. So Tibet, this Tibetan situation is bad to worse these days. So that's why, so many young Tibetans are desperate to live under the Chinese pressure. So they are miserable condition under miserable condition, and so the many young Tibetans they set themselves on fire. So there are many young Tibetan self-immolators who set themselves on the fire, and most of the young Tibetans died, and now there's almost 150 young Tibetans set themselves on fire. Yeah. So that is the real situation happening in Tibet. So as I mentioned a little bit about our monastery, so this monastery has been one of the most important spiritual and cultural institutions in Tibet. This monastery served, second to fifth Dalai Lamas for home residence in Tibet, and so all subsequent Dalai Lamas maintained, residence there for training and teachings in our monastery. So it is a very important monastery for Tibet. And we are on tour of the mystical arts of Tibet, and this tour produced in 1989 by the monastery of our monastery, the branch monastery of our monastery, which is based in South India. And so this tour found in 1989 with a group of monks, and it is endorsed by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and with the guidance of our monastery in South India. And this tour has two main programs. So the one is to perform sacred music, sacred dance for world peace, and the second one is to create mandala, the saint mandala, to show the mandala, to create the mandala for world peace and harmony through sacred arts. And then we also offer complementary programs, such as the house blessings and a workshop, and to do some pujas for the people, for their well-being, and so to remove obstacles and hindrances, and so forth and so on. Yeah. And and the purpose of this tour is to make a contribution to world peace and harmony, and for all inhabitants of this world, such as to resolve conflicts all over the world. And the second one is to make awareness the endangered civilization in Tibet. So we try to raise support for Tibetan refugee community in India and all outside Tibet. And then the third one is to raise funds for the monastery monks. We have, presently we have more than 3,000 monks. So the most of the monks are from Tibet. And and the monks, we have also monks from other countries, such as the India, northern part of India, and Bhutan, Nepal, and so on. So proceeds from donations and merchandise goes to directly to the monastery to supply monks' livelihood, such as healthcare and food, education, and so on. So, so we are from this monastery, and we are very honored to be here and to share one of the most important cultural and spiritual art forms with you this time. Mandala is a Sanskrit term, which literally translates as the center and surroundings. So this center means the center deity, and surrounding means it is surrounded by its retinues, or we call it 5 family Buddhas. So this time we have the mandala of a compassion Buddha, or Avalokiteshvara in Sanskrit, so who represents the boundless compassions. It is the mandala is a world that unfolds from a central enlightened quality. So we Tibetans believe that the external world reflects the state of mind of its inhabitants. We believe that every individual has potential to transform his or her own mind. Through this, we can contribute to environmental transformation. It's with this spirit that we bring this sacred art of mandala scent painting to you on our North American tour of the mystical arts of Tibet. So it is our hope that the creation of the mandala will contribute to this area and to all of its inhabitants, and especially for world peace. And traditionally, the creation of the mandala begins with the opening ceremony and concludes with the dismantling ceremony. So for the next 20 to 25 minutes, the monks will be performing the opening ceremony here with chants, meditation, and ritual, recite mantras. There are a few steps for this ceremony. So the first step is to examine the site for the mandala to determine whether it is a suitable place for this purpose. Of course, our hosts have already decided that place, and so we are confident that that is a perfect place for this purpose. And the monks obtain permission from local authorities and as well as invisible beings. So we believe that not only human beings but other living beings who are invisible to us share this space. So it is important considered not to encourage on their territory. And also through the chants and meditation, we dispel the obstacles and hindrances behind creating the mandala. So the monks will bless the site to make it conducive the construction of the mandala. Yeah. So after opening ceremony, the monks will draw the lines for the design of the mandala. So it will take 1 hour or 1.5 hours to complete the lines. So after finishing the lines, then they will pour the signs onto the design, and they will walk from the center and walk in outward. So, yeah. So hopefully you will enjoy the opening ceremony here and come back to view the mandala as it progresses through various phases. And we also hope to see you during the closing ceremony here, which will be on Saturday at 4 p.m. So thank you so much for each and every one of you for coming here today and to join us to promote peace and harmony on this miserable earth. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all for choosing to spend this time with us. Please support these fine artists and monks while they're here this week. Again, you're welcome to go see them starting to draw the lines out if you like. Otherwise, enjoy your afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you sometime this week for many of the events that we have. Namaste.
Namaste.